Hello and welcome to the Quibber channel. I'm Jason, your host, and I want to put a point forward here, a very important point. I have saved taxpayers in this country massive amount of money. See, this is the thing that the government doesn't want to explain, but it's a very simple thing. Very simple thing. In 2019, I was told that basically I had two options. ELO, which is end of life. Basically, none of the normal treatments were working, so they thought that I'd end up as a statistic, or I had to agree to ending up in a long stay psychiatric ward. Instead, we took the option of using PIP and my benefits to create a coping strategy that allowed me to stay independent. That used about £1,500 per month, and that may seem like a lot to you. That works out at I have cost the government let's get the calculator out and do this. Let's just get the calculator out. So 1,500 per month. So we times that by 12, and it's been 6 years since 2019, and then so that's £18,000 a year, and times that by 6 years equals £108,000. That's how much I've cost the taxpayers, the NHS, the biz government, whatever you want to call it, £108,000 for me to be independent in this home, living alone, using benefits and taking care of myself. Let me show you something. That's per day. I would have to be in a specialist or intensive psychiatric unit, because if my coping strategies break down, I am, let's just say bad thoughts happens and things happen. Then the point is that let's take those 6 years and put them into the lowest amount on there, the PIC unit, the £800. So let's have just a quick fact here. We're using numbers from the NHS and their system itself. So it's £800 times 356 times 6 years equals 1.7 million. So me looking after myself, me using the benefits because I'm severely disabled, me keeping myself okay, £108,000 over 6 years. If I hadn't took that path, if PIP had not been available to me, if I had ended up in a long stay psychiatric ward, and let's just say that the actual doctors and experts who diagnosed me officially with autistic spectrum disorder, ADHD, bipolar type 2, PTSD, and the other stuff know what the fuck they're talking about, that there isn't any quick fix for what I've got or any way of thinking it other than creating coping strategies, I would have by now cost you, the taxpayer, 1.7 million. And I want to point something else out to you whinging little bastards that complain about money usage. For 20 years before that, who call me a scrounger, Let's look at some of the cost here. Let's look at the next one, because this is what we want to point out. Okay, right, we need to just, sorry, we've got to press the right button or we're not going to get anywhere. There. Right. What is that? That's how much I saved the NHS, the DWP, the government and the taxpayers for 20 years being the carer for my wife. £2.19 million. Because I was on call every single day, every single night. I had to do everything for my wife as she slowly died. Unpaid. I did it for love. I did it for care. I did it because no one else could. But that is fucking how much it saved you, the taxpayer, and the government over 20 years. Because I had to do dialysis training. I had to wound care. It wasn't just basic looking after. I had to help wash and clean. I had to provide a safe environment and deal with everything else. That's the true cost. The savings in both things that I've saved to now. Now let's say if they take away my PIP, if they take away all my stuff, when they make these changes, and I end up losing all this, losing all my coping strategies, and I end up in a PICU ward, a psychiatric intensive care ward. And let's say, optimistically, let's say if I last another 20 years, that would cost you, the taxpayer. I remember that she's just one person. Is it just one person? So let's go at the lower end. 800 times 356 times 20 years. 5.6 million. Let's compare that. How much, if I stayed on PIP, if they didn't change PIP and I was on the benefit system and I looked after myself, so remember that number, 5.6 million. Instead, let's go for 1,500 a month if it stays at the same amount. It stayed on PIP and the related benefits that help, times 12 equals times 20. 360,000. So instead of costing 5.6 million in resources and actual cost to you as a thingy, if I'm allowed to look after myself or do all the stuff I do, all the work and the drain and the effort into care for me, instead I cost for the next 20 years 360,000. This is why the current plans by the government are going to absolutely wreck the NHS and social services and everything else. Because everyone you take off PIP who can't go into work will end up falling into deeper depression, deeper problems. Their coping strategies, their independence that they had will go away, and they will end up in destroying the NHS by taking up rooms that aren't there in the PICU units and all things like this, and things will go very, very badly. This is the problem, though. Bye-bye.